In this video, we're going to go over the Soundtrap 5.2 Organizer Part 1 that's in your Google Classroom assignment. So for this organizer, you have this document right here, which is the actual organizer. So as always, I'm going to hit print, and then that will give me the ability to fill this in. And then I also need the chord progression organizer. This should look really familiar. We've done this before, okay? So I'm going to come back to the directions. Using the chord progression organizer, create a 4-bar chord progression. Use inversions where necessary to get smooth voice leading between chords. On the drum and bass chord organizer, we're going to write a 4-bar drum pattern. Then we're going to follow our chord progression with inversions to write the bass line and spell the chords. Okay? So here's our chord progression organizer. Now the first thing we're going to do on the drum, bass, and chord organizer is we're going to write our drum groove. Okay? We should be pretty good at this right now. So this is going to be my groove. Let's see. All right, so there's my drum groove. All right, now I need to write a chord progression. Okay, this top row is measure 1, this is measure 2, measure 3, and measure 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is come back to this chord progression organizer, and I'm going to write a 4-bar chord progression. Okay. And I either need to start or end on a stable chord. So I'm going to end on a stable chord. So I'm going to start on 2. Okay, and the 2 chord is D minor. And then on this column, I'm going to spell that chord. The notes are D, F, and A. Okay, don't worry about this column yet. We're going to come back to this. Okay, the first chord that you write is going to be a root position chord. So I'm done with measure 1. Okay, measure 2. The 2 chord can go to 5, 4, or 3. I'm going to go to 4. Okay, so I have 4, which is F major, and that chord is F, A, and C. Okay, now what I need to do is I need to look at chord number 1 and look at chord number 2 and see if they share any of the same notes. Okay, what you're going to see is that the 2 chord, D, F, A, and the 4 chord, F, A, C, both have the note F and the note A in them. They share that note, okay? So what I'm going to do on this right-hand column is I'm going to keep these 2 notes from chord 2 in the same voice, okay? I have an F in chord 1 and an F in chord 2. I'm going to keep the F in chord 2 in the middle voice, just like it is on chord 1. And then I'm going to keep the A in chord 2 in the top voice, just like it is in chord 1, okay? Then the only note I have left is C, so I'm going to put that on the bottom. Okay, then I'm going to delete this column. So what I'm left over with is C, F, A. All right, if I look at this chord, D, F, A is going to change to C, F, A. So this chord right here I have put in second inversion. And the reason I do that is because the bottom voice is just going to move 1 note from D to C. The middle voice is going to stay on F. And the top voice is going to stay on A, okay? So let's come down to chord 3 now. So I have my 4 chord. 4 can go to 1, 5, 6, or 3. I'm going to go to 3, okay? So I'm going to go to a 3 chord, which is E minor. Now, I can skip a step here. This chord is E, G, B, okay? E, G, B. Now, these 2 chords don't have any notes in common, okay? And I have to jump a lot. I have to go C has to jump all the way up to E. That's a big skip. That's 2 notes. Okay, I want to try to keep everything as close as possible. When I have 2 chords that are right next to each other, so a 4 and a 3 are right next to each other, I'm going to keep the second chord in the same position as the first chord. Okay, so this is in second inversion, right? The F, A, C chord is C, F, A, 5, 1, 3. So I'm going to keep this chord in that same position. So I'm going to go B, E, G, 5, 1, 3, okay? And what you're going to notice, C moves down 1 note to B, F moves down 1 note to E, A moves down 1 note to G. That's all real close to each other, all right? And then I said I wanted to end on a stable chord, so 3 can go to 6, 1, 4, or 2. I'm going to end on a 1 chord. So down here I'm going to put a 1. That is C major. Notes are C, E, and G, okay? Now, again, do these 2 chords share any of the same notes? They both share E and G, right? C, E, G, B, E, G, okay? So I'm going to keep the E and the G in the same voice. The good news is that's already done. In root position, these two notes are already in the middle and the top voice. So then my bottom note just goes from B to C. All right? So I have my chord progression done. Now I need to actually put my chords in the organizer. So I'm just going to copy this information over to here. So bottom, middle, top, DFA. And then we're going to do the same rhythm for every chord. We're going to hold each chord out, starting on beat 1, all the way to beat 4. Okay? We're going to do all the same thing here. So in measure 2, I'm going to do CFA. And what you're going to see again, the middle and top voices stay the same, F and A, and the bottom voice changes to C. Okay? And then again, I'm going to sustain all these to beat 4. I'm going to do the same thing down here. Okay, so I have B, E, G, B, E, make that capital, B, E, G, and I'm going to sustain all the way to beat 4. Sustain all the way to beat 4. And I'm going to go C, E, G, and I'm going to sustain all the way to beat 4. Sustain all the way to beat 4. Sustain all the way to beat 4. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I need to write a bass part. Okay. Now remember, the bass is always going to play the root of the chord. And the root is the name of the chord. So for the D minor chord, the root is D. Okay. And I'm going to have my bass play more than my kick. So I'm going to play 1, E, and then I'm going to add a pickup. So 1, E, and 1, E, okay? And I'm going to sustain, let's see, I'm going to hold that one out long. I'm going to make all those short. So that's my bass line. And then I'm just going to copy this down here. So this is going to be an F. So F. Ooh, sorry, that went down on me. Here we go. Here we go. And F, F, and F. We're going to come down here. This is going to be an E. So E, 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 and E. And then this chord is C major, so my bass note is going to be C. 1, 2, 3. C, C, and C. Okay, so to review, I've written my drum groove. On the left side here, I've created a 4-measure chord progression. And I've inverted the chords where necessary to make each voice move as smoothly as possible. I've copied this information over to here and sustained the chords starting on beat 1, going all the way to beat 4. And then I've written in my bass part on the bottom. And in my instance, the bass matches the kick. You may write more than the kick or less than the kick. Good luck.